Yehovah, Ruach Emet. Yehovah, the Spirit of Truth. Yehovah Elohei, Yehovah, Ruach Emet. Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. Please fill me and lead me, and cover me and stir me, and speak through me with your Ruach HaKodesh, that I may speak your written words with boldness and humility to those who listen. I ask all these things in Yeshua HaMashiach's name. Amen. We'll start with the Shema. Listen and obey. Children of Yehovah, pay careful attention and respond. Yehovah is our power and authority. Yehovah works in unity with himself. And you shall act upon your love to Yehovah with your power and authority, with your thoughts, mind, with your entire body, and with all the muchness that you have. Yeh-ho-VAH. Hand, behold, nail, behold. 2 Chronicles chapter 18. Jehoshaphat had wealth and honor in abundance, and by marriage he aligned himself with Ahab. After some years he went down to Ahab in Shamron. Ahab slaughtered sheep and oxen in abundance for him and the people with him, and persuaded him to go up with him to Ramoth Gilead. Ahab, king of Israel, said to Jehoshaphat, king of Yehudah, will you go up with me to Ramoth Gilead? He answered him, I'm with you all the way. Think of my troops as yours. We will join you in this war. But Jehoshaphat said to the king of Israel, first we should seek the ha-lev word of Yehovah. So the king of Israel assembled ha-lev the prophets, 400 men. Should we attack Ramoth Gilead? He asked them, or should we hold off? They said, attack. God will hand it over to the king. But Jehoshaphat said, besides these, isn't there a prophet of Yehovah here that we can consult? The king of Israel said to Jehoshaphat, yes, there is still one man through whom we can consult ha-lev of Yehovah. But I hate him, because he never prophesies anything good for me, only bad. It's Micaiah, the son of Yimlah. Jehoshaphat replied, the king shouldn't say such a thing. Then the king called the officer and said, quickly, bring Micaiah, the son of Yimlah. Now the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat, the king of Yehudah, were each sitting on his throne, dressed in the royal robes. They were sitting at the threshing floor of the entrance of the gate of Shamron. And all the prophets were there prophesying in their presence. Zedekiah, the son of Kenaanah, had made himself some horns out of horns and iron, and said, this is what Yehovah says. With these you will gore ha-lev Aram until they are destroyed. All the prophets prophesied the same thing. Go up and attack Ramoth Gilead. You will succeed because Yehovah will hand it over to the king. The messenger who had gone to Micaiah said to him, here, now the prophets are unanimously predicting success for the king. Please, let your word be like one of theirs, and say something good. But Micaiah answered, as Yehovah lives, ha-lev, whatever my God says is what I will say. When he reached the king asked him, Micaiah, should we go up and attack Ramoth Gilead, or should we hold off? He answered, go up and you will succeed. They will be handed over to you. The king said to him, how many times do I have to warn you to tell me nothing but the truth in the name of Yehovah? Then he said, I saw ha-lev all Israel scattered over the hills like sheep without a shepherd. And Yehovah said, these men have no leader. Let everyone go home in peace. The king of Israel said to Jehoshaphat, didn't I tell you that he wouldn't prophesy good things about me, but bad? Micaiah continued, therefore hear the word of Yehovah. I saw ha-lev Yehovah sitting on his throne with the whole army of heaven standing on his right and on his left. Yehovah asked, who will entice ha-lev Ahab, king of Israel, to go up to his death at Ramoth Gilead? One of them said, do it this way, and another, do it that way. But the Spirit stepped in, stood in front of Yehovah, and said, I will entice him. Yehovah asked, how? He answered, I will go and be a deceiving spirit in the mouths of all his prophets. Yehovah said, you will succeed in enticing him. Go and do it. So now Yehovah has put a deceiving spirit in the mouths of these prophets of yours. Meanwhile, Yehovah has ordained disaster for you. Then Zedekiah, the son of Kenah, came up and slapped Elotav Micaiah in the face and said, "How did the spirit of Yehovah leave me to speak to you?" Micaiah said, You'll find out the day you go into an inside room trying to hide. The king of Israel said, "Seize Elotav Micaiah and take him back to Ammon, the governor of the city, and Joash, the king's son. Say, the king says to put this man in prison and feed him only bread and water, and not much of that, until I come back in peace." Micaiah said, "If you return in peace at all, Yehovah had not spoken through me." Then he said, "Did you hear me, you peoples, all of you?" So the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat, the king of Yehudah, went up to Ramoth Gilead, the king of Israel, and said to Jehoshaphat, "I will disguise myself and go into battle, but you put on your robes." So the king of Israel disguised himself and went into battle. Now the king of Aram had ordered his chariot Elotav commanders, "Don't attack anyone of either high or low rank, only the king of Israel." So that the chariot commanders saw Elotav Jehoshaphat. They said, "This is the king of Israel," and turned to attack him. But Jehoshaphat called out, and Yehovah came to his aid. God moved them to leave him alone, so that when the chariot commanders saw that he wasn't the king of Israel, they stopped pursuing him. However, one soldier shot an arrow at random and struck the Elotav king of Israel between his lower armor and the breastplate. The king said to the chariot driver, "Turn the reins and take me out of the fighting. I'm collapsing with my wounds." But the fighting grew fiercer that day. And although the king of Israel propped himself up in his chariot facing Aram until evening, around sunset, he died. How can we learn to love our Creator after reading this fascinating 18th chapter of 2 Chronicles? We can love Yehovah by seeking His truth even when it's unpopular or painful. Love Yehovah by avoiding alliances that compromise holiness. Love Yehovah by trusting His voice over the multitude of flatterers. How can we love our neighbors as we love ourselves and as Yeshua loves us? By speaking truth in love, even when it challenges their comfort or direction. How can we bear one another's burdens? By praying for leaders and friends who walk near deception, asking Yehovah to open their eyes to truth. What are the top 3 fruits of the Spirit found? 1. Discernment. Micaiah stood alone for Yehovah's word against 400 false prophets. 2. Courage. Truth requires standing firm even before kings. 3. Integrity. Yehovah protects those who speak truth with a pure heart. What is the Hebrew word that encapsulates this chapter? Emet, truth, faithfulness, reliability. Verse 13, "As Yehovah lives, whatever my God says, that I will speak." How can we find Yeshua in the scriptures? Micaiah foreshadows Yeshua, who stood alone, declaring truth before corrupt rulers. The deceptive prophets revealed the spirit of false peace that Messiah came to expose. Yehovah's hidden plan in battle reminds us that Yeshua's wisdom transcends all human strategy. What is the mitzvah response, Torah-Based? Mitzvah. Exodus 23 verse 2. Do not follow the crowd in doing wrong. A response might look like this: I will stand with Yehovah's truth even if I must stand alone. Hebrew declaration. Ruach Emet, shokhenet betok, ha-lev, ha-ne'eman. The spirit of truth dwells within the faithful heart. We'll end this with the Aaronic blessing using the name. Yehovah will kneel before you presenting gifts, and He will guard you with a hedge of protection. Yehovah will illuminate the wholeness of His being towards you, bringing order, and He'll provide you with love, sustenance, and friendship. Yehovah will lift up the wholeness of His being and look upon you and set in place all you need to be whole and complete. Shalom, shalom.